Next is the cost report of the proposed 4K program.
One of the questions that has come up is what will be the cost of a 4-year-old kindergarten program to the district in the short term and the long term. In discussions with Chris, who's leading our 4-year-old kindergarten or early childhood collaboration group, I've given the board what we are using for calculations, I guess, as anticipated. We're anticipating not having 100% participation, particularly the first year. We really anticipate participation would increase over the years. That's what we've gotten from feedback from other communities that have started 4-year-old kindergarten programs. We'll probably have between around 90 kindergartners this year.
Yep.
And they generally say that you get around 70-75% participation in the first year, and it increases from there. So we used a constant number of 70 students in the program for a calculation. Revenue limit per pupil. Right now, our revenue limit per pupil is $9,000 per pupil. You can, with the parent component, 4-year-old kindergarten students are counted as 60% FTE. So if we were able to count 4-year-old kindergartners, it would be $5,400 per pupil. But since we use a 3-year rolling average, the first year that we have the program in place, we would really only get about a third of that per pupil, the second year 2/3, and the third year, all of the $5,400 per pupil. You'll notice that I did not increase the revenue limit each year because we don't know that the revenue limit will increase each year. Transportation expenses are based on the number of miles that we ran when we ran a half-day kindergarten program. We ran that as recently as 2001. We took the miles that we ran then and multiplied it by our cost now and came up with an approximate transportation cost for transporting kids at noon at about $110,000. We anticipate a rate of about $2,500 per student to be paid for our partners. They will be incurring expenses for hiring certified personnel, all their equipment, supplies, and curriculum materials. So that's their costs. So the annual expenses will be around $285,000 per year. You'll notice the incomes we're going to lose about $159,000 the first year. The second year, since we have 2/3 of the funding for a student, we'll lose about $63,000. And beyond that, we anticipate gains each year, income to the district of about $93,000. That's all based on our projections. So the board ought to know what type of investment we're asking them to make.
So for 4K, do you have to do half day, or can you do like Head Start? Don't they do 4 all day and then they're off Fridays?
We're anticipating doing 4 half days and being off Friday.
Okay.
You don't have to do a half-day program. You can do a full-day program. We've talked to some districts that have done full-day programs, and they usually do those 2 days a week because of the reduced number of hours that are mandated for the program. Their reviews on those aren't universally positive. Chris, you want
And they've switched from the full days. Now that they've run it for a while, they've gone to half days.
We could save significantly on the transportation,
Well, that's what I was getting at.
but for the good of the kids, it's probably better to do the half-day programs. It's a long day for kids.
Even with nap time.
Even with that.
Everybody uses the same curriculum then?
Our partners will be using Creative Curriculum.
Yep. And it was creative curriculum, and I keep forgetting the other one that's going to be. They're basically the same types of curriculum. It's play-based, but yet it incorporates some of the things that we're trying to get them to do into kindergarten. For instance, we're going to use Zoophonics, which is a phonics thing that helps the children learn visually, with motion and those things. But we've also got math expressions that we use in kindergarten and then through 6th grade, I believe, that we're going to be using in 4K as well. So not just play-based, but incorporating some of the things that will get them prepared for kindergarten.
I believe it was preschool first.
Thank you.
Yes, that's
Preschool
what it was.
first. Yeah, thank you.
So I'm still a little confused. Do we actually have a physical class here, a 4K?
In
The elementary school?
No.
No, okay.
No, there will be a little folks workshop,
Okay. Head
Creative
Start.
Kids. That's over by the Head Start building. And then in the Head Start building, they're going to run a classroom. It's not going to be a Head Start classroom because they have to follow different things than what we're going to ask them to get our kids prepared for. So
Okay.
they're going to have it in that building in a 4K room separate with that certified teacher working to get them prepared for kindergarten.
But none physically in the elementary school building
We
at
have
this
no room.
point? We have no room.
Hey, Don, I mentioned to you earlier that I've looked at the previous minutes. The board hasn't even voted on this.
Correct.
And notices have gone out pretty much saying it's done. We've got registration dates. We're behind it. It's going to happen September. And I think we need to follow some procedures in the future. I mean, it's kind of late now on this issue, but it's a big enough issue. You know, taxes are going to be levied. We're using more of our money. This is a big deal for us to decide on. And if you look through the notes, all we were doing was a feasibility study in February. There's been no questions and answers. This is the biggest question and answer session we've had right now. And it's concerning a very, very limited issue of finance. In fact, if you look at the minutes, I mean, the agendas, it's not even, the 4K has not even been on a monthly agenda.
Well, it
And-
has been on the
and now it's already done.
agendas in December, January, December, February, and March. And at the March meeting, the full report, and I think Mr. Anderson gave his principal's report on January regarding 4K. It was also brought up with the curriculum committee twice in the last year, and it's been the subject of weekly notes.
Well, that it has, but it's never been on a monthly major board agenda. I've got the minutes right here. Take a look at them. It's not been discussed at the board level. Not everybody serves on these committees. It is a major event, and at a minimum, we ought to follow procedure. We cannot send notices out saying we have a date to sign up when we haven't exercised our free will to say we are doing this, we're behind it, we've asked the questions, we've made sure that the people implementing this thing know everything about it. This is the longest question-answer session that we've had at a board level since I've been attending meetings in December, and I just think that's a violation of Board 101. It's not so much what's happening, it's how it's getting done. I don't want my vote taken away from me at any time.
And I'll go back and reiterate that it was on the board agenda in December, February, and March.
It was not. It was not.
I think that probably we should not get into an argument about procedures at this point. I understand your concerns, but I feel I don't know, you can chime in, Nate, but I feel like we were presuming that we were going to do this all along.
Well, that's the problem, though. Well, how can we presume?
I remember a meeting where the board president said, are we going to go forward and is the board behind this 4K program? I remember comments like of those
Yeah,
things.
so we weren't even going to do the feasibility study if we weren't.
I remember those discussions at the
will-
board level.
In the future, all you have to do is present it in the proper 101 way.
All
No,
right.
you're here
Vote
to
upon
do
it,
that.
vote upon it.
You're here to do that for us now. Thank you very much. So now what do we do with this that we have now? Just comes before the board on the
It would come
Monday night?
before the board at the regular meeting, the regular May board meeting to see if the board would approve contracts with partners. When Mr. Anderson has done his presentations with groups, he's always said that this is a proposed program. He has never said that this is something that we are going to do.
Well, the notices say otherwise, Don. Come on. You've got a sign-up date. And
Well-
it's presumptuous.
We need to know.
So it's
how
on
many
the
people
agenda
need
for
in.
the 15th meeting, okay? And then we will vote on it then.
At which time are we free to ask as many questions as we want? Thank you. I don't want that right taken away from me now or in the future. Thank you.